Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Joel Bayer, and we are back with a 5 Reacts. And it's myself, Rio, and we got a special guest here, the one and only Mr. Dozy Mmobuosi. How you doing? You good?
I'm good.
Listen, Dozy, you're a very unique person at the moment. All around the world, you're known for being a billionaire, you've got loads of businesses, but you're trying to do something very, very interesting, which is to take over Sheffield United. Now, myself and Rio looked into the story, and we thought it'll be interesting to understand what the process is when it comes to trying to buy a club, your interest in football, and even some of the scrutiny that you come against when you're trying to do such a takeover. And you said, sure, you're happy to speak to us, no questions hidden. So let's go. Rio, I'll let you roll on with the first question because I know you're really interested.
Yeah, listen, Dozy, thank you very much for coming on with 5. I really appreciate that. And my first question has to be, why Sheffield United?
Okay. First, I'm a lover of football. Growing up in Lagos, Nigeria, I played ball on the streets of Lagos without boots. So I understand, the hardcore part of that game. So I love it. 6 months ago, I was in the city of Sheffield, and I was in a pub where I had some Guinness, and I felt the energy in that city. And then I made some inquiries, months ago, maybe earlier than the time I went into the city of Sheffield. The first person I met, on the football topic, his name is John Textor. We had gone to Crystal Palace, and this was just an inquiry. So I was just studying. One thing I've always wanted to do is support football the same way. Of course, I've been supporting grassroots soccer in my country, Nigeria, and last year supported the preseason tournament for the professional league named after me in Nigeria. In fact, that tournament is as big as, if not bigger than, the Premier League itself in Nigeria. To be very frank, Sheffield United was opportunistic, and I saw the opportunity and grabbed it. Haven't felt the energy in that city, and of course with the history the club has, I felt, look, it's a no-brainer. And then I got in and then met with Prince Abdullah, and we started talking, and in a few weeks we had lawyers all over sitting on on a table at the Dorchester Hotel, and that's where it started.
So just in terms of that, Mr. Prince Abdullah, who I actually know through my time in football as well, what is the process with the EFL in terms of buying a club? And give us a bit more detail, if you can, of where you actually are. Is this something that is imminent, could be happening any day soon, or is we still in quite a long process?
Well, I trust that they have their experts at the EFL doing their job. Within weeks from shaking hands with him, we signed the SPA, and certain deposits paid. Unfortunately, I can't mention, I can't say anything because I have agreed that there will be a joint statement when it's time. In fact, all that you see online everywhere is also very wrong. But fingers crossed, when this deal is done, we are going to make a comment. So where we are right now is at any given time, the EFL, sends us, questions. We provide the answers quickly. We believe we have given everything, but of course we're open for more questions and even more scrutiny. There's nothing to hide. We are ready to go through the process, and I believe they are professionals, and I believe they are fair enough. I'm hoping they are, but fingers crossed. I believe we're just there waiting for whenever they're ready for us.
If I can put my hat on as being a fan, maybe, and I'm sure the Sheffield United fans will be listening, and they'll be wanting to know, what if this does happen, and it comes off, and you buy the club, what are going to be your intentions, short term and long term, or is this something, because you're a lover of football, as you've told us and I've read about before? Is it fun, or is it a real business deal that you're looking at, or to get Sheffield United to be one of the most successful clubs in the country?
For me, it's even beyond football for Sheffield. You know, when I go back to the pint of Guinness I had in that pub, the energy of the city is underutilized. I understand how to work with disenfranchised people. I don't feel the city is where it should be. And I think what I bring to the table is my experience in business. I'm a very pragmatic businessman. I will not overpromise, but I want to work with the fans and the people and the good people of Sheffield to build from where Prince Abdullah is going to stop, hopefully. But he's done a very great job. The idea for me, short term, definitely you are going to see a lot of development at the cadet level, training grounds, fan experience, meaning from the hotel. Of course, the grounds are going to we are going to invest there and invest in as I don't want to say many, but again, I'm going to be practical. And I'm open to the best advice. I have the best advisors around me. I'll always try to. I want to make that club a world-class club, with the help of everyone, every professional around me. So, and even down to, long-term, nothing stops the fans from also participating in ownership at some point. So it's not short-term for me. I started my business thing over 22 years ago, and I'm still in it. So I do not know how to do short-term. I'm just in my 40s, and 22 years ago, I started my business, so I'm still in it. And it's something I want to also pass on to my children, and they pass on to their own children. So I'm in my business Tingo. So my family and I are going to be very committed to this club and to the city of Sheffield when this is done. I'm not going to say if, because I'm very certain, it's going to be done. It's just the right thing to do.
And you mentioned your business is there, and obviously you've been very successful. Are you a liquid funds buyer, or is it going to be against your businesses, or is it going to be debt, or what? Because I think that's a big key issue with the fans in this country at the moment.
One thing, I've been a very private person, and I've been reading things said about me and my business. I don't have one business. Beyond building a very successful agri-fintech business that is generating in excess of $1 billion a year in revenue. We are on the NASDAQ through a merger we did sometime last year, but I feel we're undervalued, and that is also part of what this discussion should be. In terms of liquidity, I clearly own majority of that business. I'm very liquid. Also, I'm in healthcare, I'm in food processing. As a matter of fact, today we are doing a groundbreaking ceremony of what I believe would be the largest food processing facility in sub-Saharan Africa. And fans and everyone in the world can check that out. We believe in food security. We believe that Africa can also add value to the rest of the world and sell even processed food to the rest of the world. So food shouldn't come from one side. I'll give you an instance. In Ghana, where you have cocoa, Ghana exports cocoa and imports chocolate. These are the things we want to stop. So for me, from providing financial inclusion to disenfranchised people in my continent, to providing access to marketplace for them to sell their produce to both consumers, small businesses, to kitchens, to food security in general. That is what I stand for. That is what Tingo stands for. And for me to have done that, definitely people should understand that I'm a serious businessman. I won't make noise. I'm not going to go for what I'm not going to get. So if this comes with a fight, I'm ready to fight. And I'm calling on everyone out there. I think it's time for us to start doing the right things here. If I am super qualified or if I'm qualified, then I should get it. But I believe I'm very qualified. I have demonstrated ability to do this. I have done deposits. Unfortunately, I can't mention how much. That is the first sign, and I've been working closely with the club. And I respect their decision not to speak at this moment. But when people who are uninformed started writing things they know nothing about, I had to step out. Someone clearly leaked the information, and I was upset when I saw that. But again, it is important that as an African, despite doing this transaction and trying to work for the people of Sheffield, it is important for me to address certain things. I'm Nigerian, I'm African, so it is an extra battle for me. I need to make the world understand that you don't just say an African man or a Nigerian businessman is doing something and you begin to cast doubts. I have ties here in the UK. My wife grew up here.
You live here, don't you?
And I live in London. I'm from London. So people need to be educated. People need to be informed. And that's why I'm doing this. And I'm happy you guys provided the platform to have this conversation.
I just want to take it back, Rio, for a second. You mentioned Tingo.
Yes.
A lot of people might not know what that is.
Yes.
And secondly, people writing certain things. So we just want to provide clarity for those who might not be familiar. So if you can quickly give us a rundown of what Tingo is, please.
Well, Tingo is... First, beyond one of our businesses does agri fintech. We provide financial inclusion services to smallholder farmers in Nigeria, and now we are in Ghana, we're in Malawi, and we've just set up in Dubai. But it's now beyond financial inclusion. We have just launched a super app, and we're collaborating with brands like Visa to provide financial inclusion. But beyond that, we have also started Nwasa, which is a marketplace. We're able to help farmers, smallholder farmers, basically to sell produce anywhere in the world, basically, but we'll take it to the marketplace. So the farmers are empowered to, grow more food, and then I discovered opportunities. I found opportunities in that space. Let me take the tomato value chain, for instance. Years ago, we discovered that before produce gets to the market, 60% were going into waste. So I now said, look, let me set up a different business. So I set up a business called Tingo Foods. What Tingo Foods is doing is from rice to tomato paste. As we speak today, we're doing the groundbreaking for something we believe is going to be the largest food processing facility in Africa. It's going to produce 14 product lines. The idea is to save that. We can't allow food to waste. So instead of Africa exporting just raw materials and importing, for instance, chocolates after exporting cocoa, the idea is to have our own chocolate factories, to have our own processing facilities that can process finished food, and we can also take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, and also even the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act in America. So no one stops us from exporting standard food from Nigeria to the rest of the world, and that is what I'm about. So it is from financial inclusion to food security. So that's what my business is all about.
So I was saying, this sounds very good. You've obviously got your head in business, but Sheffield doesn't have a strong fan base in Africa. So what's actually attracted you from doing all this stuff with Tingo to now trying to get involved with Sheffield?
Well, like I said, I believe the city is not where it should be.
Which is where? Where should it be?
The city is, I love the energy in that city. Mm-hmm. These are people who love their football club. And they're where they are, yes, they are. But
they're doing well, by the way.
They're doing very well.
Second in the championship.
Yeah. This is now, for me, it's now my love for football. And to be very frank with you guys, this is opportunistic. When the opportunity came, I took it. And I said, look, I can make the best use of this opportunity. And, the idea is to work with the people of Sheffield and the fans, to make sure that this is delivered and turned into a world-class business.
Can I just jump in there as well? You know what? I'm so curious and interested when a new owner comes in, and this if we've just fast forward and assume that you take over, and you get the club. Fans normally want to know, like, does the new owner come in and does he make wholesale changes? Does he change the manager immediately, the way Chelsea have? Is there an influx of players? Would that be the case with yourself? Would that be something that you'd be planning?
No, you see, like I said, I'm a very pragmatic person. I can't sit here to say I'm going to. I don't like disruptions that are not good, and if it's not in the best interests of the club and the people of Sheffield, I'm not going to do it. And I don't think it's in the best interest of the club and the city for radical changes to be made. But what we must do, because the club is a business, and I want the people to also participate in this business, what we must do is to make sure that we bring in the best to add value to the club.
So you're looking to create a sustainable club then, a club that can also make money, generate money itself.
Of course, because you don't just go to the Premiership and return to where you're coming from. So we must put everything in place to ensure that we sustain the new position.
You mentioned earlier as well that you didn't like some of the things that were being said when your name came up for potential takeover.
Yes.
You mentioned that people have had doubts because of you being African, not really looking at your background.
Because you're black. Do you feel because you're black, because you're African, that there's a bit of resistance?
Sorry, Joe,
but I just had to ask that.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Absolutely. I'm going to be very frank about that. Is the way I feel. And the United Kingdom is the most civilized society in the world. This society is the most civilized that I know, and that is why I'm here. So this society has given me the platform to be free, to be at peace with myself and my family, without danger. So I expect nothing but the best. But when I read things like, Nigerian business, first, I'm a human being. Yes, I'm Nigerian, but I'm here. I feel it's offensive that, without doing proper research. Look, I'm very accessible. I have my team, I have my communications team. I'm very accessible. Ask questions. One of the things I saw was about Tingo Airlines. I've always wanted to do, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm in various sectors. And I have world-class chief executives running my businesses. I've always wanted to do aviation. And I don't like how airlines treat Nigerians when they travel. So I thought, you know what, let me do something. And then we incorporated Tingo Airlines in 2019. Of course, before you go for your AOC, you need to incorporate a business. And I lived in a home somewhere in Harpenden. And I used my home address while I was getting a consultant to do my feasibility and, all of that. That was a leased home because we were just coming back to the UK then. During that process, you need to get, consultants working before you even start looking for offices, and all of that stuff. But COVID came. And while there was COVID in the UK, the lockdown, but Nigeria was a bit free. I said, you know what? The AOC process was becoming too difficult. I thought, let me via my investment into an opportunity I saw in Nigeria. So I went for an airline called Omni Blue. We set up a joint venture, and the joint venture is called Omni Tingo. And we've bought, even if we feel we should start small, we've bought a helicopter. We are in the process of, and these can be verified, we're in the process of completing the acquisition of a Challenger 605. And these are for private use, to corporates and, maybe high net worth. But we've also started, we're almost done with the lease of a few other regional jets for commercial purposes. And Omni Blue is there, and they can verify this. Just like I'm also in healthcare, I have just finished, and I opened that, I think with an interview I did with the Voice of America a few months ago. I mentioned that, but that hospital is ready, and that's the first of many coming. I also have my
I
foundation.
think, sorry to cut you. I think a big point of what you're saying and what you're trying to get at there, I think, is that there has been certain businesses that haven't made the multi-million pounds that some of the other businesses have made, but that shouldn't be used as a stick to hit anybody with or ridicule anyone with. And I think that's where you're going with this, isn't it?
Well, that's why I'm going. That's why I'm going. But what I'm saying here is, the business you see is the public business, and I feel not just me. In fact, we have started the process. We feel that as a public company, we're undervalued. Yes, it's true that our stock price got hit, but for Christ's sake, a business is not just about market cap. I don't believe in that. It's about what we have. We generate revenue. We're extremely profitable. So if I've run this business for years and it's been profitable, I'm giving back to my society in Nigeria. I'm giving back even here in the UK without making noise. Then, how there someone say 90 million or 100 or whatever million, whatever amount they're touting out there is a problem.
Yeah, so just for clarity, because we have to ask questions that we assume and that the Sheffield United fans would ask as well. And I think it's about, obviously there's been bids for real big assets at the club like Sanderberg and Day, etc. Are you looking to come in and make sure you keep hold of those players to build to go up and stuff? And finally, before you go, what would be your message to the fans of Sheffield United?
I'm talking about the players. Playing at the championship level is good, but the Premiership is different. I'm going to be as brutally honest as possible. Those players are fantastic, but they need all the support. Definitely, we're going to look for more players to provide more support so that we can score the goals and defend as much as we can. I'm saying I because, I'm saying me or look, I'm now a fan of this club. I always said, I said to my wife a couple of years ago that maybe one day when I get involved in soccer, I'm only going to support the club I eventually get to own.
Who did you support before?
I've never supported any club.
Okay.
Yeah. The only team I've ever supported in my life is the Super Eagles, and I still support them till date. That's my national team. So for the fans, what I want to say to you guys, I love the city of Sheffield. I'm looking forward to coming there to drink Guinness with you guys, and it's going to be it's not going to be an easy journey, but I would need your help, your support for us to do this together. And I am an individual you can count on. Don't see me as a Nigerian. Don't see me as an African. See me as a human being who is here to work with you. And I believe we are not going to disappoint. I mean, myself and my team, and of course, those who manage the club.
Another question I have for you. Do you think that your background and the colour of your skin makes it that much more difficult for you to get a foothold in a football club in this country?
You see, I'm going to be very blunt again. I am one of the most scrutinized individuals that I know, if you understand what I mean. I run a public company. The scrutiny for me is different, and I feel that my market cap is hit because maybe Wall Street has refused or has failed to understand our message. Just maybe, I do not know. But we are undervalued, and I feel that if I weren't Nigerian or African, it might be different. How come when a black man tries to get something done, and I see it, they resist? So I think the world needs to change, this attitude of, naming people, shaming people, or doubting people because they come from a certain place. I didn't come here to sound too nice, and the message out there is, look, I'm going to fight for the right thing to be done. I don't care what anyone thinks, but the right thing must be done. Whether I'm white, whether I'm black, we're humans, and that is the important thing. So I have read messages. Some of them, in fact, my wife and my communications director said to me, Dozie, stop going to the internet. Certain people said, do not respond. It's going to die down. But I said, look, I have to respond. I have to say something because I do not want people to tell my story. You don't know me, so do not tell my own story for me. I will tell my own story by myself. And the facts are right there. Go to the grounds in Nigeria. If I have served 10 million people for years, over 10 million people for years, so what makes you think I'm not liquid enough to do what I'm doing? I haven't come to any one of you I owe no bank anywhere. I haven't come to any one of you to do whatever for me. So I think we need to be sensible. The world needs to be more civilized than it is today.
Another element that really interests me is if the whole process goes through, you get the club, you're the owner of the club. What does the board look like to you? What's the makeup of the board in terms of diversity, etc.?
You just brought the word out of my mouth. Diversity is the word. I want to see women and men from England, anywhere in England, from Sheffield, from Africa, from India, from Asia, from everywhere. There will be inclusion. That's what I'm going to bring to the table here.
My question is, why do you reckon there's been a lack of diversity when it comes to people owning clubs? I mean, yes, we've had the Saudis come in, really popular to do so, and I'm not saying that there hasn't been anyone else, but there's not really a lot of black owners. I'm yet to know any personally. Why would you say there's been a lack of this?
Well, see, it takes a lot of boldness as a black person to make this move, and many black people have been scrutinized unnecessarily. And I think if you look at the history or our history, they don't want to go through all of that again. And I think that's why. But I think it's only fair to give equal opportunity to, everyone from any part of this world who means well for England, and that's what I think. A few years ago, I said to my wife, I'm still not going to support any club. The only team I support is the Super Eagles, but the day I support a club, it's going to be a football club that I own. And, the minute I started this whole process, even down to my 3-year-old son, Dozie II has a Sheffield United, from the flip-flop to the face cap. He has everything. My daughters also have theirs, and we're looking forward to joining the good people of Sheffield and the fans of Sheffield to come in there to watch the game.
Hey, imagine that confidence to say to your wife, listen, I'm not supporting nobody until I have the keys and I own that club. I love it. I love that confidence.
Are you going to make it accessible for fans as well to be able to talk to you directly? Because sometimes I find that there is a bit of a line between owners and fans. And like Rio was saying earlier on, if it's not through a comms team, we don't hear. Is there going to be like open days or something that allows for people to connect?
Will the fans have a chance to have ownership even?
In terms of ownership, yes, they're going to have a pie of it. And the structure of it, that is for the future. We're going to discuss that when the time comes. But in terms, your question was...
like an open, something that connects.
See, I believe in, just like I connect with my shareholders, I believe in connecting. But of course, I would be lying to you if I say, oh, look, they get my phone numbers. It's not going to happen because I run 11 businesses, The idea is to have a certain day, maybe every quarter, or, where I get to engage. They also get to understand my culture. Yes, I eat fish and chips, but I also eat jollof rice and croaker fish. They also get to understand how my own food tastes while I already eat their own food because I live here in England.
Are you inviting them? Are you inviting them to the stadium, to the Trent? What are you
They're
doing?
going to have a lot of jollof rice.
Yeah. I think that pretty much sums it up. Rio, thank you very much as well for using your platform. And of course, the 5 platforms, we sent messages to the Sheffield fans as well so that they can, ask you some questions. And, like we said, we've got general questions as fans, Rio as well, someone who's involved in football, and of course, the Sheffield fans themselves. how long do you reckon till we know what the outcome is, and what's the rest of the process here? Because I'm still pretty new to this.
Well, I've opened myself up for more questions from the EFL. It's unfortunate that we have to do it this way because we believed that it would be silent until the deal is done. But again, when my name is out there, people saying things that they shouldn't say, then it comes to this. So I hope it won't take long. I believe we have provided everything necessary to get this, out of the way.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully soon, basically.
Hopefully soon.
Okay, Rio. Any more? I know you said you were done with the questions, but you look like you got a lot more in you.
You know what? I just have to say, you know what? I want to thank you very much for coming on, because it's refreshing to have somebody who isn't just putting their communications manager or someone in front of everybody or putting out a statement that's quite bland and vanilla. You've come out, your head's above the parapet now, and you're there for everybody to see, and that shows some bravery in this whole process. So I wish you luck with the bid, and I hope you get the support that you need for that to reign true. And good luck, man. And we'll be keeping a close eye on this, because it will be important if it does happen, and for all the right reasons. So thank you.
Thanks, Rio, for having me too.
No worries, guys. Thank you very much for watching Five. And this is what we're trying to do. We're just trying to have honest conversations. We're trying to make this a platform for footballers, owners, people within the sport to come and express themselves. And you guys can be the judge and have your own opinion. Signing out now, Joel Bayer, Rio Ferdinand, Dozy Mabuse. Thank you very much. And
Thanks.
I'll see you soon. Did I say that right? Because I know
Yeah.
I keep... Go on, correct me. Go on. This is Five.
My name is Dozy Mobosi.
Mobosi. See, I'm Congolese, and I told you offline, innit? Because we had Mobutu. There's the in there. You're not Mobutu, by the way.
I know.
We are not. I'm
Clearly.
not saying that. But yeah, there's the announcement. So thank you very much for your time, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.